Hello Aries, this is your November horoscope for 2013 with me, Lada from Lada, and this is tropical astrology Western that we're talking about, and this is for everyone who has the ascendant, sun or moon in Aries. And if you don't know what your ascendant sign is, as often people are not aware that such a sign exists, is the most private, the most personal, which will give you much more details about specific events that happen in your life. So always check your ascendant sign. If you know your time of birth, of course, you can find it at my birth chart calculator at astrolada.com. And your moon sign as well, it's very personal, it's very emotional, it's where most of your thoughts will be focused on. And last is the sun sign, which is the least personal one. And actually Western astrology focuses mostly on it, but I want to make sure that you check ascendant sign and moon sign as well, because they're very important. So what happens if you have ascendant, sun, and moon in Aries? This month is continues the tendency of last October, basically of October 2013, where the emotional houses are triggered for Aries, the emotional liberation houses as they're called. So they trigger themes of emotional issues a lot. So the person is, a lot of Aries will be focused emotionally, will be focused within themselves a lot, will be trying to untangle and solve emotional issues. They might find themselves actually very emotionally disturbed because there is an eclipse happening in the 8th house, and especially people who have the moon in Aries, because the moon is the emotional side of the person. The eclipse happening in their 8th house for Aries basically will, for Aries moon people in particular, can really disturb a lot of Aries moon people and can make them feel fearful, because 8th house is the house of worries, of fears, of compulsions that overcome us. And also ascendant in Aries or sun in Aries to a lesser degree, but they can also feel this emotional turmoil within themselves, those fears, those worries, which are almost irrational, that can come, that can seize you, or even some power struggles can erupt, because eclipses, when they happen in a house, they always trigger some crisis situation there. And 8th house is already a house of crisis for your Aries. It's already a house of changes. So for a lot of Aries, there might be just a brooding feeling that some things are about to change, that something big is about to happen, or just like an easy feeling of worry emotionally and tension here. So if you find yourself in such moments, whether you're ascendant, sun or moon Aries, even in October you feel it, and in November as well, there is a big part of it. Just be aware, what it is. Don't freak out. Know that it will pass. Know that it is temporary. Eclipses always create a lot of tension and a lot of inner pressure into the person, especially when they fall in the emotional houses like they falls for you. But the ultimate goal of this eclipse that is happening there is actually to liberate you, is actually to give you emotional freedom later on from those fears, from those things which are so overpowering for you. 8th house is the house of all compulsions, people, events, and thoughts that have more power over us than we have over them. Anything which is almost addictive, obsessive, and that has more control, so these are more darker things. So some power struggles, as I said, is very likely to happen, or power struggles within yourself. The 8th house is the inner demons we have, and for Aries, this area will be triggered very strongly, so you can confront these inner demons. And thankfully the eclipse can help you get rid, the eclipse, because it's an eclipse of new beginning, can help you start anew there, can help you overcome some of your big demons, some of your big fears, some of your big power struggles that you've been having, whether with yourself or whether with another person or another object that you're obsessed over, and you can somehow bridge over that. But first, the crisis will intensify. They can be almost like a fight happening within you, and you're feeling quite churning inside. Well, not every Aries, but a lot of Aries will feel that. And on the more practical material side, 8th house indicates that there will be some developments to do with partnership finances, especially if your ascendant is in Aries, because this is the ascendant. You always, with the ascendant, you feel the more practical, tangible events happening. And this means that maybe you can receive support from partner, you can financially, you can benefit from another person's finances, or there first might be a crisis, because eclipse first tends to bring some crisis and some worry in regards to mutual finances, whether it's in business partnership, whether it's with your marriage partner, or whether it's money that you owe someone, or money that is owed to you, or with the bank, money that is someone else's money, not your own money, money which is or others' resources, others kind of help from others, emotional or financial support. There can be some new such coming into your life and some old being stopped and nipped at the butt. Like you've been receiving some emotional support from someone, then this no longer this disappears in November, and you can receive from a different place emotional support. Or you've been receiving financial support from some place or from some person. It's the resources we get from others, whether financial or emotional. Then it's very likely that they stop in November, or the month preceding, or month or two before the eclipse, and a new such to make a space for a new source of support from other, from others' resources. Let's see. So it is very intense. The 8th house area is very intense, and it's house of releasing yourself from fears, but first by intensifying them, escalating them, by emotionally transforming yourself. So for a lot of areas, there might be some powerful psychological transformations that happen. Actually going to a psychologist, or analyzing yourself, or going deep within yourself can help a lot of areas right now, whether it's especially areas smooth, they're more sensitive, or any kind of area, sun or ascendant, will tend to feel this intense energy in the 8th house, which is a powerful psychological deep energy. 8th house is also the house of astrology, the house of the occult. So those of you who are a bit more spiritual, a bit more ready for those things, can have cathartic experiences through such occult sciences, or through such deep psychological realizations that they reach. And also for some of you, there might be crisis in the intimacy and trust with another person, because the 8th house also rules how can we trust another. This is others' resources, and when we feel comfortable there, we tend to trust that the universe, that others will give to us. But when there is an eclipse, there might be a crisis of faith in regards to your belief in another person first. Like your belief can be shattered almost, after that, it has to be rebuilt on a more firmer foundation, your belief in another, your intimacy with another. So there might be something secretive happening in your life, but actually 8th house is the house of things that we do hiddenly as well. So some of you might be intensifying more and more into a situation which is more private, which are not taken to the surface, which you're hiding from others, something that maybe you don't feel ashamed of it, but maybe it's a bit taboo, it's your secret, and you're feeling that this thing is coming sooner or later, you cannot no longer keep it, and that will very likely soon burst out, or that you're feeling that this secret can no longer be kept, or that it's gonna make your psychic or your consciousness collapse almost with the tension. So you feel that something is coming to an end. Basically, there can be this feeling, something that's been hidden, something that you have to stop, something that you consider even negative, dirty, taboo, that it's worth hiding. So the sinful side of person might be intensified, and the strong passions and desires as well that go with the sinful side. 8th house is the house of intense, overpowering desires which cannot be controlled, and often they're to do with sexuality, and sexuality not in a loving partnership way, but often it can, when it escalates in a negative way, can be in the controlling dark way, in the secretive affair way. So these energies are active within you, and they will, because of this eclipse, they can come to around, maybe even in October it can happen, or even in December. An eclipse is active a couple of months before and a couple of months after, but they can be like a conclusion of such events, and first culminating, first like real escalation of those emotional issues and all those issues that I mentioned, and then some breakthrough through those secrets or through those obsessions you've had. Ooh, I don't want to scare you, but it's a lot of inner work you're doing right now, Aries. And also Mars is in the 6th house, another difficult house in astrology, as we call it. It's a house of the 8th house is the house of the inner demons. The 6th house is the house of your enmity with others, with actually the practical problems that appear in our life that we have to deal with. Say an illness, something breaks down at home, you have to restructure something in your office to make it run better, something which is not efficient enough, something which is not healthy enough. You have to, it's more practical, it's more tangible, it's more physical, but Mars there will help you deal with some of those issues. So you can have a very productive, even from the middle of October and the whole of November period, to get more efficient, to deal head on with those things that we usually don't like doing, that things that need fixing, things that need repairing, things that need improving. But Mars gives you the energy to tackle those head on. And also, if your health is not somehow well, because Mars can also trigger the sixth house, the house of health as well, and Mars can trigger like infections and can trigger like more sharp conditions of the body that come quickly and overpower you. Just anything which is defective in your body can trigger it, because it's a cruel planet. But it's a sign for you to go and do something, because Mars is the planet of action as well. So it will give you the impetus and the energy to go and do something productive about fixing those things that need fixing, whether it's your body health or your material surrounding around you. So it's a really period in November that you're working on very important issues, but you might feel quite a lot of tension inside of you, because these are the difficult issues, whether it's the emotional obsession, compulsions, and the things that powerful desires which harm us, the 8th house, or the 6th house, which is tangible problems that we try to resolve, and enmities which we try to somehow to win. And Mars there will help you win over certain conflicts that we have. Mars in the 6th house, because 6th house is the house of inequality and imbalance, and it will give you more of a strength to overcome if you have some head-on confrontation to somehow to get the upper hand. But these will be triggered as well. So in order for you to overcome a certain enmity or certain confrontation, it has first to arise. So it first, Mars will trigger it, but it can also help give you the strength to resolve it with power. And also Venus is in your in your 10th house, which is good for career-wise, especially if your ascendant is in Aries, and the Sun in Aries. You can feel it more. Venus, when it passes in the 10th house, it helps one to become more appreciated at their work, and one starts appreciating more their work environment. Certain projects that they've been working hard on can come to a fruition nicely and with ease, because Venus is a planet of facilitation and ease. Wherever it passes, it makes things flow well there and easily. So in the 10th house, it will be career issues or problems with authority figures that you might have had. It will somehow you manage to smooth them nicely. You manage to have some good interactions with authority figures, or with people at work as well. So this will be an area of your life, especially your career, where things are a bit more flowing, and let's see, Saturn is conjunct the Sun, which is, yes, so, all right. I think we mentioned it. Oh, and Jupiter is in your 4th house, from where it's very likely, and it continues the theme from October, which is very likely, October, November, December as well, where positive things can happen in regards to your 8th house affairs, which is home, family, which is property, which is something to do with maybe making your home bigger, making it, expanding it, or adding a member to your family as well, or somehow reconnecting with your roots, with your place of origin and home, and your parents. Maybe something good coming from your parents, or your own family, or your own home environment. So this is for you, Aries. Thank you so much, and please send your reviews.